In today's video, we're going to be welding the diff on the hard body right here. And I'm going to be making a video specifically on this one because this has a different axle than most hard bodies. And I know some of you have hard bodies with the same exact axle. So this truck has a heavy duty axle for, like, you know, it came from factory from Nissan. They just made the trucks a little bit with the beefier axle. So that's what this has. How to tell is if you look at the back, I guess I'll just show you. I'll go under. I know there's not a lot of room, but if you have bolts like that in the back of your axle, then you have a heavy duty axle. If you have these bolts on the front side and it just flat back here, kind of like a big bubble, then you have the standard axle. So this truck has the HF35 rear axle, which is not really much of a big difference, but it's just a little bit stronger and the gear ratio is a little bit different, but it's pretty much overall the same exact thing. And that's pretty much it. Just the only difference is you have to take off the rear cover and you have to weld it while it's on the truck rather than removing it and take it to a shop. So that's the main reason I'm going to be welding the diff on my own truck today with the Harbor Freight welder, is just because I don't feel like ripping the whole rear end apart just to take someone my axle so they can weld my pumpkin. But if you guys have the standard diff, I would just recommend just taking it out and taking it to a welding shop and they'll weld it up and plate it for you and you should be all fine. I think last time they charged me like 60 bucks to do everything, and then all you have to do is just install it and put some gear oil and you're set. Alright guys, so what you're going to need to weld your diff is some gear oil. So I went with 80/90 just because it is a little bit thicker, so with me beating on the diff, it's going to protect it a little bit more because, like I said, just drifting, and then when you pull the handbrake it locks it up, and it just, drifting is really hard on your diff, so a little bit thicker fluid will be a little better than what it should have. I think it should have like 75/90 or 75/80, something like that. I don't even remember, but this is a tiny bit thicker, which is a little better. And they do have thicker stuff, but I didn't want to go with anything like super thick. And then you're going to want to get a torch. This is a really cheap basic one. I think I got this for like 25 bucks. You can see that's what it is right there. And then you're going to need a lot of brake fluid. I got a little bit extra, but I think I might only need 3 cans, but I always use brake fluid or brake cleaner, so that's why I bought, you know, extra just to have. And then obviously you don't need the Arizona and these are just bulbs, but you don't need to have the torch, but it makes it a lot easier. And then you don't need this. You could use I guess you kind of do need this, but all that I spent right here, including this, the torch, was probably like 60 bucks. But that's because this was like 25. I believe this is like 7 each, so that's 14. And then I don't know how much this was. And I also bought other stuff, but around 50 bucks right there. And then you do need a welder, which is about 100 bucks. So for 150, you could weld your own diff. Once you're down here, you're gonna want to remove these 14mm bolts all around the diff cover. You're gonna want to remove these right here. These are 12mm bolts. You can see it's like spring loaded. Mine are already loose. And then to remove this right here, the fill plug, it's a 1/2 inch breaker bar. Now a lot of people say that it's better to try taking this off before you remove anything else, because if you strip this then you won't be able to fill your diff. But what I think, like my theory at least, is if you strip this, you're gonna fix it either way. You're not gonna say, oh, it looks like I stripped it, okay, well I'll put it back and then keep driving the truck. You know, you're gonna have to fix it, so it doesn't matter. But if you know you're not gonna fix it, then try taking that off first, and if you can take it off successfully, then remove everything else. Also, you want to remove these little tabs right here out of the way so you could remove the brake line, so you could pop that all off. I got the cover off, and the gears that I'm going to be welding are those right there. Those are called the spider gears. So I'm going to be welding right there at the edge of the screen. So welding in here, down here, down here. Oh, you guys can't see. Here, here, up here, and over there. And then I just remembered that I didn't get a plate. You don't have to plate it, but it makes it a little bit stronger just in case those welds break. It has a plate in there to kind of tie everything together. But on my other diff, it was just a little kind of tack weld. It wasn't a tack weld, but a little tack right there, tack down there in each corner, and then a little thin plate, and then on the other side it was just 4 little tacks without a plate. So I think I'm gonna just do the same, just the little tacks a plate, and then on the other side just little tacks. But I'm gonna have to see if I could find something right now at my house that I could throw in there, or if not, then I'll go buy some steel real quick and then I'll throw that in there. But first I have to get my degreaser. I don't know where to put it, but I have to get my degreaser, shoot it all up in there, get all that out, so when I weld it doesn't catch on fire, and you know, it actually penetrates well. Got the plates all cut up and ready to go. Now I just got to deburr them, clean the edges off, get them down to bare metal, get them ready to weld. Originally I said I was only going to do one, but two doesn't hurt. And then the measurements are roughly 6 centimeters. You can see right there, 6 centimeters by, I believe that's a little under 4 centimeters, or you could do 1.5 inches what I was going for, and 2.5 inches, but I ended up getting about 2.25. Alright guys, so you can see my first welds right there. They look a little ugly, but yeah, those are the tacks I was talking about. You do them on all 4 corners up there and down there. And yeah, now I'm gonna get the plate that is right here, and I'm just gonna, you can see it's a little bit bent because I was hitting it, and I'm just gonna put it in like that and then hope that it stays. How did I do it right here? I don't know how I'm gonna do it right now on camera, but earlier I put it in there and it was just kind of like, I pushed it really tight up in there and it was just in there, and then I'm just gonna weld a little bit on the edge. So this is gonna tie everything together just in case these welds break. It still has that tying everything together, but even these right here should be fine. So if I did this on the other side, it should be cherry, but I just want to do it a little bit extra just to show you guys, in case some of you guys are boosted or are making extra power or have like an engine swap or something. I got both sides welded and plated. I know there's a little bit of slag in there that you can see all that, like the little shadows, but sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear me, I was facing away from the camera, but you just get a screwdriver and you just kind of get all that out. But do make sure to get all that out, because once you drive, all that's going to fall in here. I don't know if you guys can see it, probably not. Oh yeah, maybe a little. And it'll just pick it up and it'll just kind of ruin the gears, because that's just metal like in there, metal shavings. So be sure to get all that gunk off. You know, turn the diff a few times. Let's see, plate it on both sides, and you can see right here there's a bunch of like slag, and then there's also a bunch like caked inside of here, like where the actual spider gears are, and then there's a bunch down here. So I'm gonna just clean that out real quick and I'll show you guys the finished product. Once it's all put together, you're gonna want to put some RTV. You don't have to, but I like to put RTV just in case. And then you're gonna want to put the case on and then put some fluid in there. I believe it's 1.5 quarts, so a bottle and a half pretty much, but I'll show you guys doing that. And then yeah, like I said, just put that back, put everything back together, and then you should be all set. Fill her up with that high performance. You already know what it is, brother. Look at that good stuff. Yeah, so like I was saying, about a full one of these and then half of that should be enough, or you can go until it starts to like come out the little hole. So it only took one right now and started to ooze out, but that's also because it is at a slant in my driveway. So I'm just gonna quickly rotate it while it's still in the air, rotate the wheel just to get everything kind of lubed up, and then try driving it out of my driveway, and then fill it back up when it's on the street. So guys, it is now the next day. The truck is still in one piece. Yesterday when I welded it all up, I wanted to test it out to see if the diff would break. Not that I thought it would break, because I welded both sides and I plated it with pretty thick steel, but I just wanted to see that if it was gonna break, it would break near my house, and at that time, rather than me drive it somewhere far, like 4 hours away, for like instance Las Vegas, drive it to Las Vegas, and I'm doing a donut and then it breaks. So I just wanted to make sure that it wouldn't break. And one thing I want to mention before I let you guys go is when you weld the diff, usually this only happens with MIG, when you're welding with MIG, but like any other welder, you're still gonna get a little bit of slag, and all that slag, you need to like get that all out. Now I did get as much as I could out. I probably spent about an hour, maybe 2 hours trying to get as much as I could out, but I'm pretty positive that there's still gonna be some in there. So that's why you guys saw that I only put one bottle when it should be a bottle and a half, but I knew that I was gonna have to flush everything out. So when you're done welding it, I'd recommend getting everything out, hitting it with brake clean a few times, getting, like I said, as much as you can out, and then putting some fluid in there, drive it around for maybe a mile or two. I think I put maybe 2 miles, and drive it around just to get everything circulated, get the oil all up in there, get everything out, and then flush it, which is what I'm going to do right now. But I'm not going to show you guys in the video because you guys don't really need to see. It's pretty much the same thing. You just pop the bottom bolt and then let it drain, fill it back in, and you're set. But before you put the back cover on, I would recommend just turning wheels a full 360 degrees, forward, backwards, a bunch of times, going fast, going slow, just making sure that it's not going to get caught on anything, and then check to see if anything fell down. Scrape that all out, do it some more, scrape it out. That's pretty much what I did, but you'll be all set. So that's pretty much how you guys weld your diff at home. For those of you who have the standard diff, and you guys don't know how to weld, I would recommend just pulling it out, taking it to maybe like a muffler shop or just anywhere that welds, and tell them pretty much what you want. Show them pictures of where other people weld it, and then tell them just to put a little plate in there. Maybe just plate it on one side, tell them weld it on both sides, like all 8 points, and I think you should be fine. And then you could just slap it back in, put some oil in it, and I think you'll be fine, because the hardest part is actually welding it. So that's just an alternative if you guys don't want to weld your own or don't know anyone that could weld it. But one thing, which is the most important thing that I can't stress this enough, if you're going to be working on a transmission, a manual transmission, or a diff, or like just, you know, like that, wear old clothes that you're willing to throw away as soon as you're done with the job. And the reason I say this is because gear oil just smells like straight like fish pussy. Like that shit just stinks. Like I don't know if I'm the only one or just my trucks have always stank, but every diff that I've done always smells so bad. So as soon as I'm done, my clothes just stink. So I just throw it away. Like I don't even want to deal with that clothes, because it just, no matter how many times you wash it, it still smells. So just take that into consideration. Alright guys, with that being said, now I'm going to talk about what I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the video, if that makes any sense. So originally I told you guys that the tags were going to expire on the truck, and I was just going to let it go and then put it on up and make it a track only vehicle, meaning trailer it to the track and home, and that's about it, not even driving on the street. But I've been driving it like back and forth lately, not really dailying it, but I've been driving it a lot more than I normally do. And I'm kind of starting to fall in love with the truck, and I'm kind of considering, you know, spending the $500 and registering it. And the reason some of you are like, oh, why $500? Mine was like 80 bucks. Well, this truck doesn't pass smog, so since it doesn't pass smog, I have to pay someone to make it pass smog for me, if that makes sense. Some of you guys will understand, some of you guys will not, but I have to do that, and then I have to pay for the insurance, I have to pay to put it under my name, and I have to pay for tags. So it's all going to add up, but I think it's worth it. But I'm not going to talk about it too much in this video, because this video is already going to be too long, and some of you guys just came to see a welded diff on a mini truck. So I think I'm going to make a video right after this one goes up, or maybe even way before. I'm going to make a video, I'm just probably title it like a mini truck update, just to kind of fill you in on everything that's going to happen in the truck, everything that's happening, and all that for some of you who care. But I think I'm going to end up registering it just so I could take it to meets, share the experience with you guys, and do things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you guys found it useful, and I'll see you guys on the update video, or I'll see you guys on some other video. I don't really know. My schedule's all fucked up, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.